them, and I'm gonna unmute the line for a minute, and I want everybody, when I unmute the line, I want everybody to give them a good, ahu, salute 3 times, and then I'm gonna unmute it again, and we can go back to talking. So without any further ado, tonight our special guest is Dr. Patrice Gordon and Miss Lisa Gordon, my homegirl from right here in Newport News, Virginia, and Dr. Patrice Gordon once again. So let's welcome to the call. Hey, good evening, Dr. Patrice and Miss Lisa Gordon.
Good evening. Good evening.
Well, how you guys doing today?
We're doing really, really good, Mr. Betts. We're excited to be on the Freedom Call tonight. And first and foremost, we want to thank you for giving us this opportunity. We pray that it's a blessing to everybody. But we want to thank you first and foremost for allowing us to share tonight.
Hey, well, thank you. And look, what prompted me, I guess, was I will say this, something, Lisa said last week when she said she's overcome fear. And I really believe, guys, that fear holds so many people back in the business. Fear about success, fear about failure, fear about what other people think about what you're doing, all those fears. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but I know that, and when she said that, it just spoke so loudly to me because I know that inhibits so many people from building their business. So that's what prompted me to want to open this forum up to you guys, because I believe she touched and spoke to a lot of folks when she made that statement last week, because she heard me one day said, I'm not afraid of anything or anyone or anybody. Okay. That's a bold statement. But when she said it spoke to her spirit, that made me say, you know what? Open this call up and let Dr. Patrice and Miss Lisa Gordon have their way with the call. So that's sort of what prompted this guy. So you guys can take it from there in any direction you want to, and I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. So, but I will ask one question. Let's start with Dr. Patrice Gordon. Say, here you are, highly educated. Dr. Patrice Gordon speaks multiple languages. I don't even know how many. You can tell us that in a minute. Multiple languages. What even prompted you to even look at Karatbars as a business?
Mr. Betts, that's not hard for me to talk about because, I wear 3 hats. I'm an educator, I'm a pastor, and I'm also involved in Karatbars. But the lion's share of my activity before I got involved in Karatbars was primarily in the ministry. And in 2008, I had the unfortunate experience, and Lisa was right there with me to see, some people even in our own respective church lose their homes and lose their jobs, and in some cases, a couple of people lost their marriages. And that really, really hurt me because I thought about all of the 20 years before that where we were just sharing, the word of God with people and, being a spiritual blessing. But that was one time when I felt like I was unprepared in order to help the people with a tangible, physical expression to give them something in the natural just as sure as in the supernatural. So I began to cry out, God, give me something that I can help my family, but also something that I can help the people in the church that I pastor, because I never want to experience that again and not have something in my hands that I could do, some lifeline, something that's real that I could throw out to people and they can grab hold and pull themselves to safety.
I want this to be your guys' show, man, because you just said something right there. Miss Lisa Gordon, you want to add anything?
Yes, Mr. Betts, again, thank you for allowing my husband and I to be on the call this evening with you. I witnessed the same thing that occurred. My husband and I, we prayed for a lot of people, and just for them to make it. And things did not happen that way. And then my husband was introduced to Karatbars, and then that was a story within itself. But at that point, I was not as active as I am now because I was dealing with my own situations regarding the business, and not just regarding Karatbars, but there was some inner turmoil things that I had going on inside of me because my husband and I, we are like twins. He's just a real smart one, and I'm just beside him. So I experienced a lot of things growing up and just being his wife that were very hurtful things. And for so long, I suffered in silence. This was things that happened that I just could not discuss. Because if you are with someone in the ministry, who do you go to talk to?
Yeah.
Who do you share your pain with? Who do you share it with? Because you don't want to go in like you're talking about people, gossiping. I don't want to do that. So I had to internalize a lot of things, which put up a lot of walls. I became very precautious, and I became a person that I was not supposed to be. And getting involved with Karatbars and being associated with Wealth Builders Worldwide under your leadership, it cracked the code to Lisa Shell. It cracked the code, and it gave me the freedom to be organic, go back to my natural roots again. Because with Wealth Builders Worldwide, there is safety. I was thinking about this call today as I was driving around. And, affiliation brings assimilation. So before I even started becoming vocal on the call, I would listen in. Patrice would have the call blaring all through the house on Saturday. I was a captive. I mean, it was just going on and going on and going on. And it tweaked. Everything started tweaking. I started sneaking in around hearing the call. Next thing you know, I'm calling in to hear the call. But affiliation brings assimilation. And as I begin to listen to the call, and as you begin to speak and the other moderators, I felt your strength. I felt your passion. And I said, that's what I need. I want to be there. That's what I need. I got to have it. And I became addicted. And every day, the power call was a sense of therapy for me, in addition to other disciplines that I'm actively involved in. But I'm telling you, this Wealth Builders Worldwide, the power call, the wonderful moderators, every one of you became a lifeline to Lisa Gordon. And all of you, that's where I drew strength to be able to stand, to be the person I am today in this business.
And I'll add to that, Mr. Best, and everybody that's listening, when it comes to fear is just not something that, a woman would deal with. Everybody deals with fear to a greater or a lesser degree. I was raised in a household. My parents were both involved in the ministry. But one of the things that, everything has its strengths and its weaknesses. And so by me coming up in a very religious culture, I had to deal with that system. And one of the things that I learned out of all of this is that systems make it difficult for you to be who you are. They really do. Because we got religious systems, we got academic systems, we got societal systems, and whoever you become, it also determines who you can't be. But I thank God that we learned and heard about Karatbars October the 18th, 2013. That was my day of financial independence, Mr. Best. And, I drowned the first couple of months. Everybody knows the story until I heard you on a YouTube video one day. And one thing I have to say, I've heard it said before, and it's really true in my experience in overcoming my own fears. You cannot solve a problem with the same level of ignorance that created it. So, as much as I thought about, the financial situations of our household, of moving forward, when I plugged into Wealth Builders Worldwide, everything began to change. And that's one of the things that I really wanted to say from the onstart.
Well, guys, it's so much I want to say based on what you're saying, but I don't want to take the call. I really don't. Look, between the two of you, and this is an important message. Between the two of you, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you got 5 degrees. I mean, I think, Ms. Gordon, you just finished your master's degree, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
That is correct. And it's in social work. And I have an undergrad degree in psychology. And the trade is, you go into psychology because you try to fix yourself. And then you get into social work because you try to fix everybody. So, so I thought I had a handle on myself after I graduated. Then I said, no, I got to go out in the field. But one thing about my profession that I love, and I do carry this technique even in my business. And when we go into a situation as a social worker, whether you're a geriatric social worker or you dealing with DCS or whatever sphere of it that you're involved in, when I go into these homes, my number one thing, what is the problem? What is the problem? What is the problem? After that, what is the problem? After I identify the problem, what is the goal? What is the goal? What is the goal here? And after that, okay, now what are the barriers to prevent the goal, to producing this problem? And then after that, what is the plan? And even with my business, how I look at what I'm doing, the methods that I'm using, I'm always assessing myself. That's why I always pull from, okay, what strategy I can use with this. That's why your tape, why Karatbars, why Karatbars, that became a strategy. That's a method because I assess what else I can do. Because see, in the world of social work, you always assess. Even after the job is done, you get the pat on the back, the people have reached their goals, it's something else. It's always something else. And that's why on the power calls, I always hear something else, something else, something else, something else, something else you can do, and it speaks to me.
Well, with reference to, my academic background, I got a bachelor's in Spanish first. And then I went on and I got a master's degree in public and international affairs, which led me working, literally in all around the world. China, I've worked in China. I've worked in Africa, Mozambique. I was right there, during the action when Nelson Mandela was still at Robben Island. I was right there next door in Mozambique. I remember those times. I came back and I finished up with a PhD in biblical studies. And but I'm going to tell you something that I have to say when it comes to even these academic, they mean something, but then they don't mean something. Because PhD in my community, it stands for poor, helpless, and desperate. Because most people on a college campus that have, their regalia, and we have our robes and our hats and everything like that, we're really struggling because teachers still don't get paid the same way that they would. But on my campus, I'm one of the happiest PhDs, and it has to do with the fact that I have an out. I have something that can help me, and it's helped me to overcome the fears of, running out of money before, the end of our lifetimes. But I'll share this, Mr. Betts, and I'll turn it over to you or to turn it over to Lisa. Even within, the religious community, everybody knows about this, this hallmark scripture that God has not given you a spirit of fear. But that doesn't mean you don't have one. In fact, Jesus spent a lot of his time casting out spirits of fear. So to say that God hasn't given you a spirit of fear doesn't mean you can't get one, because you can get one from people. You can get it through systems. You can get it through affiliations. But one day you're going to have to find a way to come in the presence of people en masse that share the vision of helping to get you out of your dilemma. And that's what Karatbars and Wealth Builders Worldwide did for the Gordon household in 2013.
Wow. Well, let me ask this. It's going to be, a little on the personal side, I guess, but because, we're always on the outside looking in, and when we meet leaders and people like yourself, you're sitting there with 5 degrees, and you're in this business, and you're tearing it up, and you're excited. We think you have some special, you were born with some special, unique gift that give you special insight into doing this business. So I'm going to ask a couple personal questions, and I'm going to get to Lisa, Ms. Gordon next. But I'm going to ask you first, Dr. Patrice. Dr. Patrice, where were you born?
I was born right here in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay. How many brothers and sisters do you have, may I ask?
I have one brother that's deceased. I have two surviving brothers and one sister. So there were five of us as children in the household.
Okay. Did anybody ever pat you on the shoulder and knighthood you for greatness?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, so that wasn't it either. Okay. Well, what made you think you could go to college and get 3 degrees?
My mother.
Okay.
Because my mom, my birth mother, God bless her and rest her soul in peace. Let me just share this because I got to get this story told. When Lisa started sharing about the difficulty of being married to me because I happen to be in the ministry, she made a statement that now in her life there's a revival that's taking place, and she's rising to be the person that she's called to be. Well, it just so happened that my birth mother was a casualty of the religious system. And way back when I was 13, 14 years old, she was planning to get me up out of Nashville. So she heard about a test called A Better Chance, where you take talented kids from the inner city, you allow them to sit for 6 hours on a Saturday, they nail an exam. If they nail it, they can go to some of the most prestigious high schools around the country. And I ended up in Swarthmore, Pennsylvania. And as a result of that, they gave me 3 years. My mom, she had foresight. She saw me being the last child going as far as I could in the family. And as a result of everything that finally took place with my mom, because she had a tragic early death, I made a decision that from that moment I would support all women that I saw that were really trying to take themselves somewhere in their lives, because my mom opened up the door for me. And so when Lisa came into my house, to my life, that brought a healing to me because, I had gotten married, we started raising a family, and that was my opportunity now to really pour into my wife the way that I wish society had been able to pour into my mother.
Another quick question, if you don't mind me asking. I know I feel like I'm interviewing you, but I got to. You said Swarthmore Academy?
Swarthmore, Pennsylvania. I went to Swarthmore High School.
Okay. Can you tell us a little? I know a little bit about it, but can you share a little bit about it? Because, see, people don't know about this stuff that's happening around the country. Can you tell us a little bit about that school? Because I know a little bit about that school.
Well, I'll put it like this. Andrew Young's daughter, Ambassador Andrew Young's daughter, was on the campus at the college while I was at the high school. And that city, that town, is one of the most prestigious communities in the whole country. And what I have to say about their Better Chance program, they take kids who wouldn't have a good chance to get to college by putting them through a very competitive high school program in a parochial setting. And so when you think about, most people haven't heard Mr. Best from Swarthmore, but I tell you this, as an academician, I know this. We have this book that ranks colleges. Mm-hmm. It's called Barron's Guide to College. You've got competitive, you've got highly competitive, and you've got most competitive. The most competitive is your Ivy League schools.
That's
but
right.
Most people don't understand that there is a band of colleges that's even above the Ivy League schools in the Barron's colleges. And that's where Swarthmore ranks. So my high school was the feeder to the college. Even though I didn't attend the college, I went to Lincoln University, which is the original HBCU in the United States of America. Most people think of a lot of other colleges, but Lincoln was founded in Pennsylvania, not Missouri. In Pennsylvania, was founded in 1854. That's 11 years predating the Emancipation Proclamation. And so the Underground Railroad that, Harriet Tubman used runs right up under the grounds of Lincoln. I went to Lincoln first. And then after I did that, then I went to the University of Pittsburgh and furthered my education.
Okay. I hope you're listening, folks. Okay. As my man Dr. Sergio Rosell says, success is intentional, but none of us do it by ourselves. Okay. It takes a lot of help, a lot of providence, and I love that story. I could stay right there with you, Dr. Patrice, really for the next 35, 40 minutes. I have a ton of questions because there's a ton of questions we asked about Lincoln because that was founded on Hampton University. And you know I love Hampton University. You know how I feel about Hampton. So
yes, sir.
Okay. But and I love all historically black colleges. I know there's a place for them. Okay. Anyway, I don't want to get too tired of. I get too emotional about this stuff. But I gotta get to my home girl because see, and I know that's a term. That's a term of endearment, folks. She touches me in a different kind of way. Okay, because we grew up 4 blocks from each other. Well, 4 or 5. But what street you grew up on, Lisa?
29th Street. Then we moved to 22nd Street.
Okay, so and I grew up on 22nd Street. So literally, we grew up in the same neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the kind of challenges it comes growing up in that neighborhood. East End, I think it's a beautiful community. I grew up, as far as I was concerned, it was still Mayberry RFD compared to most communities that you grew up in. It's a great neighborhood to grow up in. Okay? But when you have a dream, something you want to aspire to do, a big dream, the neighborhood can be a challenge. Okay? And it takes a certain degree of fight to come out of that neighborhood and believe that you can do something special with your life. Okay? Certain degree of fight. Oh, now a lot of athletes do not misunderstand me. If you play sports, you come out of that neighborhood believing you can come. You can do anything. Because we've had athletes come out of that neighborhood since the 50s. Earl Faison played in the NFL, where the San Diego Chargers started in the 50s. Leroy Key was run up to the Heisman Trophy behind O.J. Simpson. You got Michael Vick out the neighborhood. You got, I could go just, Aaron Brooks played quarterback. Michael Vick played quarterback. You got, the guy played for Buffalo right now, quarterback. We got Bruce Smith. With so many athletes. I played Little League football with 3 guys that ended up in the NFL. So, if you're an athlete, no problem. You know what you can do. But outside of sports, now it becomes a whole different ball game. And so, when I talk about Lisa and her having a dream and watching what she's doing in this business now and the people she's enrolling and the lives she's touching and changing, including her own, okay, yes, she has a special place. So, I want to ask Ms. Gordon, okay, first thing is, what even made you believe you can go to college?
Well, Mr. Bass, my mother was a maid. She cleaned houses up in Denby, and right there off of James River in that Hilton community, my mother cleaned houses. In the summer, I cleaned them with her. I saw the most beautiful houses. I was privy to all of that wonderful stuff, lawyers' homes, doctors, dentists, everybody. Those people treated me just like I was their family. Because when they went away, who kept the house? My mom and me. I got the most beautiful things. But the things that I did get that meant so much to me, it was books. Books! Malcolm X books. Martin Luther King. I mean, every books on top of books on top of books. My mom worked for Dr. Steinenberg. He was a podiatrist and all that. And I remember him going away, he and his wife, and he came back. He was so happy because I got attacked by a German Shepherd. My leg was all mangled. Mr. Best, I was in the paper and everything, and it was terrible. Got over 70-something stitches. They thought I was half dead. I really was, but by the grace of God, he patched me all back together. But Dr. Steinenberg went on a trip, and he was sitting across from Michael Jackson. They just had performed, and he was at their restaurant. So he thought that he was going to make Lisa happy, and he went over there, Mr. Best, and got Michael Jackson autograph on the back of his card, and he wanted me to have it. But I was introduced to a lot of beautiful places growing up, and to books, just reading. And I knew that I could not stay in that place. I had to leave. And I was trying to figure out every way to do it. Because in school, I was not smart. I wasn't the sharpest knife. I wasn't the sharpest knife. Believe it or not, Mr. Best, they classified me as having a learning disability. Because it was slow for me. I conceptualize things in pictures. When you talk, Mr. Best, when you get up there and you started speaking about a vision, when you start speaking about the dream, I can visualize it. That's why I fell in love with the way you present it, because it helped me see in pictures. And so as a teacher used to teach, I would see in pictures. And by the time she got to me, I had added all this stuff when it was time for me to read. I'm adding stuff in. It was just difficult for me, but I made it through by the grace of God.
Now, did you go to Newsom Park? What elementary school did you go to? Newsom Park or Walter Reed?
I went to Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson. We were bused up to Jenkins. From Jenkins, we came back to Thomas Jefferson, then Newport News Intermediate, then to Ferguson.
Wow. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. So the books had an impact, and then something somewhere made you say, I can go to college.
Yes. I'm smart. I can understand. I'm not dumb. It takes me a minute, but I can do it. I got into the Upward Bound program.
Okay.
I always won the most improved. Every time they had a most improved, my name was called. Most improved in math, Lisa Mitchell. Most improved, Lisa Mitchell. I was striving.
Okay. So that's powerful. So you knew you could do that. And then what made you decide to go pursue a master's? Well, I think you told us, you said first you wanted to fix yourself, then you wanted to fix somebody else, okay? But it still takes a certain amount of, you got to have a dream. It takes a certain amount of nerve and guts to say, I can go get this master's degree.
Yes, Mr. Bass, I started out with a vision board several years ago. And just about everything that I put on my board, I achieved them. With the master's degree, all the students in black. And on top of it, I put the mind is a terrible thing to waste. So I borrowed that. That's why I like to think. My job is remote, so I'm always listening to personal development stuff, your stuff. Oh, Lord. Patrice's old tapes. Even I recorded my old professors. I still go back and listen to classroom stuff because I like my mind to keep going. See, I was somebody that was classified as being a slow learner. So now I love learning everything. Just show me, tell me what I need to do. I'm going to do it. So if I can visualize it, then I know I got it. And I think that worked for my good because I'm able to. If I can see what you're saying, I know I can achieve it. That's why I love hearing you speak.
Well, thank you. But let me do this now. I'm going to shift gears, you guys, a little bit because I know we have some networkers out there who want to know. They want to, bottom line, they want to talk about Karatbars. But see, so many people miss this business because they keep thinking that the business is about the gold. The business is about Karatbars pay. The business is about the perfect. Look, the business is people, folks. We're in the people business. If anybody asks you what business you're in, you're really not in the gold business. All business is about people. We're in the people business. The thing you need the most in your group is people. 9846 and breathing that grasp this concept. Okay? And so I think it's important that you know the background of Dr. Patrice and Miss Lisa Gordon. I think it's important that you know because you realize they're exceptional people with a dream, but they haven't done anything. They're not doing anything that you can't do. And that's why I want to spend 30, 35 minutes talking about their background. But I want to take the next 15 to 20 minutes and talk about what they're doing in Karatbars. Because right now, Dr. Patrice was rolling. He was rolling. Make no mistake about it, man. He was on all the calls, sponsoring people, making it happen. Got a Super Bowl player sponsor, got professional athletes getting involved, got other doctors involved, and then all of a sudden, here comes Miss Lisa Gordon. And she, I said, look, I had to call her and say, I ban you from sponsoring anybody else in Newport News and Hampton. Enough's enough. This is my territory. Me and Tyrone Banks was talking about it. I said, man, she hurting us. She's sponsoring more people here than we are. We live here. Okay? And so the question asked, number one, and either one of you can start, either you guys decide, what are you doing and what's causing this? I mean, I know the Let's Go week, but I don't want to put the words in your mouth. You tell us. You tell these folks who are listening what's going on in your business that's causing you to have the activity and have people respond to you the way they're responding right now. Because they're truly responding. They're not just signing up. They're signing up, they're getting packages, and they're ready to go. So you guys tell us.
Well, Mr. Best, I think one of the things that's really helped us is our posture has changed. And it's changed as a direct result, number one, spending that time with you this time last year, and then the Let's Go weekend events. Because posture is everything. It's a mindset. It's not only what you think, it's what you carry. And whenever you go into people's presence, there's an aura with you. And when you have that kind of aura of certainty, like Lisa Nichols was talking about this morning, it changes everything. And so in my particular case, I'm no longer, really spending too much time on the wrong people. Yeah, I'm obliterating the scene. I'm putting the word out. I'm posting every day. I'm talking to people. I'm calling people on the phone. But at the same time, I'm moving from one person to the next person, to the next person, to the next person. And I've got my personal, manual enrollment forms with me. I got my business cards with me. I changed my business cards. My business cards used to directly say Karatbars on them, but I saw people were just Googling to death, Karatbars, and they were missing. So then when I took the Wealth Builders capture page and I employed that changed everything because people were going directly to the information. They were no longer judging us. They weren't judging what we were driving, what we were wearing, what our accent was like. It was all about the information. And I'll let Lisa weigh in on what she's doing.
Yes, Mr. Best, with me, it's a whole recipe. Because, when we were at dinner with Mr. Willie Brown asked me, he said, well, what changed? What propelled you? What happened? And I told him I wish I could say one direct thing, but actually it was like a recipe. It was a recipe of stuff. Being plugged into the power call is an absolute must.
A must.
If you can. I don't know. I don't know how people are doing this without the power call, because the power call is what gives me a charge every day. Remember, I'm a visual person, so if you say do this, do that, I see it. That's what I'm doing. And basically, what I'm doing now is everything that was said. I hold no prisoners when it comes to sharing this business about Karatbars. I talk to everyone. I inconvenience myself to make sure that I'm getting the people and backtracking. Sometimes I don't go to Walmart one time. I go about 2-3 times. I don't get everything in one shot. Because before I go out to work in the morning, I'll get something because I need it. But on my way home, I got to pick up something because I need it. But I'm also looking around. I'm surveying the land. I'm assessing. Did I talk to her? Did I talk to that person? Let me see where that person is. So I hold no prisoners when it comes to sharing this business, because that's what you tell us to do. Share it with everybody.
And also with the CDs. CDs, Mr. Best. You're just so right about it. Most people are in Drive Automobile University, rush hour traffic. And, by the time you're at my age, you done heard all the songs, all the music. You want some information. When I'm riding around, when I'm riding around in my car, I want information. When I pop in a CD, that gives me the opportunity to, cool the jets of my mind and allow the creativity that I need to just sink inside of me so I can not only be a person that is a hearer of the word, I want to be a doer of the word.
Amen. Yes.
So, I presume then that you also give out CDs to people you're prospecting.
Yes. 95% of the people I talk to, they walk away with a CD. I do a lot of charting, so Patrice is very concerned that I'm in safe places when sometimes I have to finish a report or whatever. And a lot of your CDs have gone out with truckers because of the locations that I go to. So I love the fact of being parked in a parking lot at a gas station because people will pop in a CD in a minute. I shared that CD with people and got responses back. I want in. Wow, this was too much for me. Wow, man, and they hear the CD, then they get bad because they feel sad because they think about all the things they did with their resources, and now they're in the financial position that they're in. So I got to bring them right back up. But hey, listen, there's another end to that CD. You can come on in a free position. So I mean, that CD has really helped me a lot. Of getting people enrolled, getting people educated, food for thought. I love it because it's very thought-provoking. It's a reality check. I listen to it daily because it keeps me straight. It keeps me on top of my financial goals and things that I must do in order to practice what I preach. I praise God for Karatbars because bills are getting paid. We're coming out of this system of debt. We have an exact date when we're coming out, and we're saving in gold at the same time. So when people talk to us about it, listen, we're giving them exactly what we're doing.
That's right.
So when you say CD, are you referring to why Karatbars?
That's the only recruiting CD I have thus far. The one that Miss Sheila Abrams, she had the 4th of July. We're going to download that one.
Yeah.
That one was awesome.
That was powerful.
Yes. And that is going to be another one because as we start having meetings, holding meetings, we will also have another CD to give to people. So that's what we're going to do.
And everybody's looking for more.
Yes.
That's the word. Everybody, I don't care what the economic strata is, social strata, everybody wants more. We're starting our meeting at a local hotel. I went up in there, and the night desk manager, he was the first person I signed up in the business that evening.
Okay. There's other sort of recruiting CD is the Creature and the Blessing.
Yes.
Out there. But the other one, the Why Karatbars, that's the number one, but the Creature and the Blessing explains the Federal Reserve and way Karatbars is a solution to the Federal Reserve situation. So that's interesting. So okay, I'm a proponent of that. Now, by the way, here's the challenge we have because we haven't promoted the CDs very strongly in the first 2.5, 3 years of the organization. We just haven't, just one of them things because we got all this technology and all these CDs at their hand. I kept saying, what's the missing piece to the puzzle? And I firmly believe that a missing piece to the puzzle is getting these CDs out by the thousands. Okay, because you just said it, the average person spending 10 to 20 hours a week in their car, in their universal wheels. And the beautiful thing, now I know the tech person can sit there and can dial on their phone. You can still get the message on your phone and play it over and over again. But for that person that's not that tech savvy, there isn't anything easier They're putting the CD in the CD player in their car, which is non-productive time, and listening. And by the way, it's non-threatening, it's non-intrusive, and as you said, Dr. Patrice, it's that think time where you can rewind it, hear it over and over again. So there's some benefits. And by the way, my wife and I have now built $4 million organizations just by sharing an audio message. And if I can say anything to everybody on the team that's listening, just do the math in your head. Imagine 100 people on your team getting out 100 CDs every single month. Okay? Just the first month, 100 people, 100 CDs. You're talking about 10,000. That's not that many people doing a lot. That's 10,000 audio messages going out about your program every month, every month, every month. Okay? And I don't believe anything is more effective than them listening to a CD in a car when all their defenses are down, okay, and they're relaxed and they're driving to and from work, especially from work, when they're tired, or to work after the 4th of July weekend. And Tanisha Glass